Okay, so this is the video for those of you that wanted to see how I made my DIY fish inserts. I had the personal size version 2.1, the day on 2 pages, and I adapted them so they can fit into my Midori Traveler's notebook. I also use her Midori Traveler's notebook inserts, so I kind of have like 3 calendars in here. But, you know, Fish gave me permission to show you how I did it in case you didn't want to give up your day on 1 page or day on 2 pages, which I didn't. So this is, I have a little inspiration from Carie Harling and RhomanysRealm to, you know, piece everything together. I just kind of watched a couple videos and I was like, oh, I can do that. And, rearranged it to work for me, and it definitely took some trial and error and cutting and pasting. So I'll just show you how I did them. So I do a combination of bullet journaling with my fish inserts, and I kind of do it a little bit differently. So the first book I have in here is like my collections, which is just, you know, the lists if you bullet journal. And I'm not going to show you too much in detail because this is mostly for this. But, so this is the first book, and I put every month into its own book because I have July, August, and September here also because that's what the set was. So, I blew them up to 115%, and then I printed them, and then I just cut them. And instead of cutting them in half and punching them, I just booklet folded them. So they came out in a booklet. And, you know, it leaves you with a little bit of a margin here, but I use them every day and I love them and I wouldn't give them up. So that's how I made this book. This one's pretty easy and straightforward. This one, however, is a little bit trickier. This is the monthly and weekly pages. I also did these in their own monthly book, so I can basically have like all of June in here. I don't do too much in advance planning, and I actually left a space in here for this, in this book, for future planning in case I need it. But I also made those books, which are here. So this is July, and then this is August. So what I did for this book was, so I printed the monthly and weekly pages. Now, when a monthly weekly page prints, it's going to print like this. So this is the monthly chart and the first week. And then you get this chart on one side. And on the other side, it's the cover page and then the big monthly chart. So when you print this page, like April would be before this. So at the end of April, you know, April's last page, there's another half of a week 18. So if you can see here, these are the last days of April, and these are the May days, obviously. So you would just, so what you're going to do to get this is, I'll show you how mine folds out. So on this side, I have the monthly chart, and then when you open it, like this, you have your weekly chart for this week, your calendar, and then this little sheet that was over here for, I use it for future planning. You can use it for whatever you want, but this is where I keep my future planning in case I need to write anything. I don't have to keep a bunch of months in here. So how I did this was, you basically want to cut off this side and tape it over here. I just washi taped it over here so you can get this page in the front. Now you're going to take this extra week that prints for the previous month, and you're going to cut this part off, this big section of white paper, and then tape it, glue it, however you want to attach it, right where that week is, like that. So you have this extra flap here, because that extra flap is going to create something like this. So you're going to have, this is September's that I did. So you're going to have, you know, your monthly chart, you're going to open it, have your page and your month. trying to do this one-handed. In your month, in your week, and then this page. This is where you're going to stick it in your Midori. Some people like to just slide that page in there so they can slide this whole thing out and write on it, just like that, and just put the elastic here. I sewed mine because I just like to have booklets. So the other side of this is just a graph piece of paper. Now you'll see when I get to the back of this booklet, there's going to be a bunch of like random graph papers and charts like this, and because they're the back of different pages. So when you open this, you've got the big fold out chart and you've got your week. And now what I do for these, I'm sorry if this is a little shaky, I'm filming on my iPhone. So I just keep track of all my bills here and like my chart. It's not that filled in yet because I just set these up like earlier this week. So the first page, I just keep track of all my bills. Now this is what I was using my Midori Traveler's notebook inserts for. But I needed more space and I wanted more charts, and I like to write my bills in a bunch of different places so I don't forget. So the cool thing about this is the little flap, you know, like when you open that, it'll have this on the back of it. So I just keep, you know, coming up next week. I just keep any important things that are coming up for the next week. And I keep the tab at the top for my bills due, so I know what page this is on. And I just use that first piece of graph paper for that. So here's week 24, and then the weekly chart. And then you have a piece of graph paper. You can use, you know, whatever you want if you need more writing space. Week 25, the weekly chart, and, you know, so on. So the back of the book looks like this. You're going to have graph pages, and then you're going to have these kind of charts and, you know, all this stuff. Because how the weekly page, how these pages print out is like this. So to get these, I just printed them regular, and then so on the back of this page, it's going to be blank. Now I keep a bunch of like scrap paper, so like this is an old calendar page that I blew up to Midori size. For April. Obviously, I don't need April because it's not April. So I cut them in half, and then I use the back of because I like to have graph paper. You could leave it blank, I guess, if you want like drawing paper or something. And I leave it the size that it is so it's easy to line up, and then I tape it in there with, you know, the tape guns from Michaels. And you don't have to tape all the way down because you're obviously going to cut this, but you're going to tape it obviously where you want it to hold together. So, you know, I just put 2 pieces of graph paper in there from old inserts. You know, when I mess up printing or something, or you can just print extra pages of graph paper, however you want to do it. And I make my weekly chart, I tape it together, and then I cut it to size. I cut these off. So then you have, when it's all stuck together, you're going to have a weekly chart like this, and graph pages, and then the back of it's going to be like that. That's how you see, you know, towards the back of the book. That's why you see these, and then, you know, this page or whatever. So what I did here was I did monthly tasks. So this is the monthly spread for like bullet journaling. I don't need that, you know, list the days of the week over here and then the tasks over here because it's redundant. I already have a calendar. So I just put my tasks in one spread, and I keep monthly tasks at the top. So when July rolls around, I can just take this tab off and move it to the next book. So, you know, and then here is the stuff that I want to look up or research or look more into or remind myself of, so I can keep it all on one spread. That way, you know, if I'm sitting at a doctor's office or something, I can just turn to that page and look stuff up. So the last book is my regular Midori Traveler's Notebook inserts. And I use these for my isogenic schedule and, you know, workouts and stuff like that. I started using these for every day, but I missed my monthly and weekly charts the way they were in the fold-out pages and my day on 2 pages because I write a lot in a day. And, I don't know. I like having them. I really like my day on 2 pages. But I also like this a lot. And I write on these this way. And I put, you know, I use these as little times or check boxes or anything, because I just, you know, I write big, so I write on them that way. And then here's my monthly chart. So I hope that helped some of you that wanted to see it. You know, I measure everything by this booklet template that I have. You know, I basically just took a regular Midori Traveler's notebook refill and laid it flat and then traced around it and got this size. And, you know, when you first start making these, you'll have, you know, pages that don't necessarily line up all the time, but they line up in the cover, so it doesn't bother me. It actually kind of makes it easier to turn them. So, you know, here's my books for future months. It definitely took some time to put together, but it was so worth it, and I really appreciate Fish for letting me use those. So I hope that helped. If you have any other questions, just let me know. If you want to see anything else, I can probably post it on another video, or however you guys want to see it. So thanks for watching, and thanks for, you know, wanting me to make a video. I'll talk to you later. Bye.